want to talk a little bit about a great song for beginners with one major exception. Good Riddance by Green Day, of course. And what's really neat about this song is very simple chords, very simple strum. In the foundation of the strum is simple, the execution is difficult. So, but I like to have people work on this song to learn four simple chords: G, G, four-finger G, I sometimes call this one, a C add 9, a D, and an E minor. And we'll take a look at the left hand and all that stuff in a minute. But the main thing that's going on in this is it's a very simple strumming pattern. Down, down, up, down, up. But every stroke hits a very select string or pair of strings, and sometimes it doesn't even matter what strings you hit. But the other thing is, what makes it difficult is it's really fast. So I like to have people play this song at about half speed. We'll try that in a little while. I'll play this with a metronome probably at, I don't even know what the real speed is, a lot. Probably 180 or something like that. But, so the tablature that I have to this shows to do this. But it doesn't sound like that. What happens is certain notes need to be accented. So again, we'll take a close-up look at that in the right hand and the left hand and all that stuff that evolves over the time, over this short lesson here. So anyway, so you have to have this foundation of being able to strum through a G, a C add 9 just by moving two fingers, and a D. Then you work on very specifically hitting just two strings on the downs, two bass notes on the first one, and really softly on the second one. So the second hit is really soft. Then what you hear really clearly is the note up on the second string. Really important that that's an up. So very slowly. Now, another really important thing is on that D chord. The last up on the D is not with your fingers still down. You're going to let go of your first finger part of the D chord, and so the last note is going to be open. Notice that very carefully in the fourth measure of the tablature. Another thing is your third finger stays down on all these strings. So when you're going from the G, four-finger G, to C add 9 and D, make sure that your ring finger never comes off and replants between those chords. So what you're just practicing here is going from the first chord change from G to C, you just move your first and second fingers. Then when you're going from the C add 9 to D, you leave your third finger where it is and land there. So that's all that's happening there. Now later on, after two sets of that, it goes to E minor, and I talk about this in the left hand as well. But I still like to have you finger the E minor with the second and third fingers and just keep the same strumming pattern going. So again, a beginner could do this slowly with just what I sometimes call the folk strum. Start working on your speed, you could get it up to closer to the speed of the album. But then you want to work on this focused strumming where accenting in particular the first down with the first down that is a bass note or two, and then the first up, which happens on the and of 2, which is the second string, and then the second up, which is on the and of 3. So the three things you need to hear clearly are this. Everything else is in the background. So that's the sound you're looking for. You have to hit just one or two strings with every stroke and get the accents where they need to be. So let's take a look at the left hand and the right hand with what's going on in there, and then at the end of this I'll have a segment where I play it along very slowly, a play along segment, and you can just play with me. I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you about just yet. No. Let's take a look at the close-ups. That's it. We have 4 chords. Oops, 5. In Good Riddance. The G chord is played as a 4-finger G, where we've got both our 3rd and 4th fingers at the 3rd fret of the 1st and 2nd strings. Now what this chord does, sometimes I'll call this a G5. It's not really a G5, but it has a heavier concentration of fifths in the chord rather than the normal fingering for G, which has a B on the 2nd string. So anyway, in Good Riddance, we're always going to be playing the G this way. We're also going to be playing the C chord just by moving these 2 fingers here. So our 1st finger goes to the 2nd fret of the D string for E, and our 2nd finger goes to C. So we've got a G. All the G's in this song are played this way. We've got C add 9, and then later on we have a regular C. So we're going to finger the regular C like a C chord. So, well, no, that's dumb. Anyway, you get the idea. But, so we've got G, C add 9, a regular D chord, and a regular E minor. Now, they probably, I haven't seen videos of this, but I'm sure there are some, they probably play the E minor with these 2 fingers because it makes the change to the G a little bit easier. I would still prefer people play E minor like that and learn to treat these as separate chords. Finger your E minors like this under almost all circumstances. So I would play the E minor with my 2nd and 3rd and just learn to land on this 4-finger G as a separate thing rather than this 2-finger E minor. Not a good way to finger E minor under normal circumstances. So that's all that's happening on the left hand in Good Riddance. Okay, that's what it looks like at close to the real speed. Pretty scary, huh? Again, the problem with Good Riddance is, I hate to call it a problem. This is a good beginner song except for how fast it goes. But what's really important in the strumming, so we're going to break this down and look at it very slowly. And what the main thing that happens here is it's actually this strumming pattern. I'm just playing our G, our 4-finger G right now. Now that's a pattern you should be familiar with. Down, down, up, down, up. But each stroke is very focused on just 1 or 2 specific notes, and sometimes certain ones are accented and some are so far in the background you're not even sure they happened. For example, the first thing I have in the tablature is hitting the bass note or the 2 bass notes. Again, I have everything the same in the tablature, but this is so varied as the song goes on that don't need to be too worried about playing it exactly the same every way. But the crucial parts are, on the first beat you hit the bass notes hard. On the second beat you hit the bass notes very lightly, if at all. It's not this. It's this. So it's more percussive. Then on the and of 2 we need an up, and it's really important that you get the 2nd string. So we have something like this. And if you get an extra string like that, even better. Okay? This is what he messed up at the beginning of the song. If you listen to the recording, the first couple times he does this. He goes up on the 3rd string and up on the 4th string, and what he meant to do was up on the 2nd string and up on the 3rd string. So what you really hear is a hard one here, a soft one there, and then really good accent on that up and a really good accent on that up, and then there are 2 more notes that are very softly in the background. It'd be down on the 4th string and up on the 3rd string. If I play every note equally, kind of slow, we'd have this. Okay, it doesn't sound anything like that in the real world, but that's what the right hand's doing. Now you just have to accent. Ooh, that was too much. Sorry, that probably hurt your speakers, huh? And your ears. So, it's really based on the touch with your right hand. Now later on, it's just normal strumming. So the pattern I'd like people to learn for this is, again, really slowly, I'll run through the whole sequence. The G, 2 G's, the C add 9, and the D. Whoops, except, you know what, I'm gonna get it right. To C and D. Now, one thing that's really important about the D, the last note on the D chord needs to be an open G string. You're going to let go of your left hand early getting to the G. Okay, so that'll happen automatically when you start playing it faster. But so that's a good note to pay attention to in the tablature. It's on the D chord. It's not this. If that last note is an open A, you're not going to get back to the G in time. So it's got to be this. I let go and get an open G in there. Anyway, that's what the right hand has got happening in Good Riddance.